Nigeria-India relations has variously been described as steadfast, worthy and mutually beneficial. India is Nigeria's largest trading partner. Nigeria and India were in the forefront of international anti-colonial and anti-apartheid struggle and closely collaborated in various international fora up to date. The presence of a large Indian expatriate community of over 50,000, the largest in West Africa, adds value to the importance of the long-standing relationship between Nigeria and India. Nigeria's pharmaceutical, power and transmission sectors are dominated by the Indian companies. In the year 2012, about 40% of all visas to India from Nigeria were for medical tourism, and Nigerians in that year spent about $260 million on medical expenses in India. Is that still in the record now? Where and what is the position of Nigeria and India collaboration on health, small and medium enterprises? What about education, culture and tourism? That will be the focus on the program today. My guest is Nigerian High Commissioner to India, Major General Chris Eze. That will be the focus of Diplomatic Ties today on Nigeria-India collaboration with emphasis on health and SMEs. After this time out, stay with us. Welcome to Diplomatic Ties.
And we're doing our best to make it as convenient and easy as possible for prospective students.
What we can do is just support the efforts of West African countries to integrate, to organize a better regional, political and economic integration.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Diplomatic Ties, building friendship and enhancing oneness among nations. Watch Diplomatic Ties on NTA International.
I remember my last session with you, you sustained one position that you will deepen further relations between India and Nigeria in the areas of culture, the economy.
Yeah.
So where are we with that now?
Where we are with that is that everything is on course. I had a long meeting with the Indian High Commissioner. You know, we have a new High Commissioner of India, Mr. Reddy, has gone home and he's been replaced with Mr. Abhay Thakur, who was the High Commissioner in Mauritius. And he's very enthusiastic. He came with a lot of enthusiasm to, to do all that he can to accelerate the engagement between the two countries. And I told you in India that there is a new focus, an official thrust by the Indian government to engage Africa as a whole and Nigeria in particular. They opened up, they announced the imminence of the opening up of 18 new missions to bring the total to 47. In the last AU day of 25th of May, the Minister of Foreign Affairs herself came and addressed us. And everything, CII conclave is, which we had in Abuja in October from 9th to 12th. There's another one that is going to start from 17th to 19th in...
What is that one all about?
CII is a Confederation of Indian Industry. It's the biggest and most well-known Chamber of Commerce in India. There are a lot of them, including ASOCHAM, PHG, FICCI, and so on and so forth. But CII is the one that has been most proactive in relating with African countries. So on the 9th of October, we came down with CII in collaboration with Exim Bank. And we had the West African Business Conclave in Sheraton Hotel. Two ministers actually came along with them, the Minister of Commerce and the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. After the conclave here, the interaction with the government and policymakers, they went to see the Indian business community in Lagos. So the statistics from the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission are there. In the private sector, after government, Indian companies are the next largest employer of labor, as you know. We have more than 130 of them, and more are still coming in. In fact, my staff in Delhi, they tell me that we're expecting, for the CII conclave, that we're expecting 2 ministers from Nigeria. And I am sure that you know that you can get for yourself the value that the training that you got in India, has added. So I count myself very lucky to be the High Commissioner of Nigeria in this period when the relationship is getting so robust. You also know that the biggest industrial project being undertaken in Nigeria right now is Dangote refineries. And you know that the backbone of Dangote refineries in terms of manpower management, training, even the construction itself, is Indian technocrats, Indian experts. In fact, the entire power plant for Dangote refinery is handled by an Indian company called Skipper Cell. And the chairman of Skipper Cell, Mr. Jitendra, he was in Nigeria a couple of weeks back. Just in this economic expansion, Skipper Cell itself is developing a coal mine in a place called Oukpa in Benue State, which is just a stone throw from Obolafo, which is my own hometown. And I took them to see the Minister of Transport because they want to see if they can be accommodated in the rehabilitation of the rail line from a railhead called the Hamufu to Port Harcourt. So they want to be accommodated in the consortium that is going to rehabilitate the narrow gauge that exists now, not the new rail lines that are in place, not the new standard gauge rail lines. And the distance is 263 kilometers to Port Harcourt Port. Now, why I'm saying all these things is these are investments that will have some gestation period, and it also shows that they have that confidence. Skipper Cell also intends to use part of that coal. They want to build a coal-powered plant, electricity plant, probably in Makurdi. So that's it's very good news all around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's proceed to health.
Yes, please.
You responded so much on the health sector regarding Nigeria's India.
Yes.
And I remember I've asked you, what are the plans to bring a big, strong health institution down in Nigeria so that it reduces the traffic of Nigerians to India, vice versa?
Yeah, you see, you were in India yourself. Apart from AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Services in Delhi, you know that most of the health institutions that Nigerians go to patronize in India are privately owned. So anytime I go, I'm invited to talk to them in policy dialogues and economic roundtables. What I tell them is that the new philosophy that is gaining root in Nigeria is promoting the culture of self-reliance, and that for strategic planning, that the hemorrhage of foreign exchange from Nigeria is unsustainable. So it is going to be in their own interest, to consider having branches in Nigeria. And I'm told that that a few Indian concerns are already establishing health facilities here. There's a hospital that I'm told just opened in Kano, which is owned by an Indian. If you go to the city gate in Abuja here, you see the Tulsi Chandrai, which is a state-of-the-art eye hospital, and what I keep encouraging them to do is to be looking at Nigerian partners. You know that here you see a lot of hospitals that are owned by single individuals. That does not allow, especially in rural areas, that doesn't allow for synergy. You know, so maybe in time to come, with Indian acting as technical partners or as motivators, maybe some of our doctors can, and the people who want to invest in the health sector can come together to pool resources to build state-of-the-art hospitals.
Let me get to the education sector. You expressed some concerns over the need for Nigerians to be properly guided when they are seeking admission to tertiary institutions in India.
Yes.
A lot of them have been misled. On reaching there, they realize they did the wrong things.
That is true.
Can you expand further on this?
Yes, I can. I earlier said that I had an extensive discussion with the Indian High Commissioner in his office, and he told me they're initiating what he calls a consular dialogue. And that consular dialogue is going to take place around sometime in early April. I even told him that when I go back, I will ask the Ministry of Foreign Affairs if I can send one of our officers to come and attend the dialogue. And visa regimes, visa fees, student information to students, you know, the policy of FRRO and all that, which you know very well, you know, all these things are going to be discussed. Now, he told me that they are doing everything possible and that in the nearest future, time that it takes to issue Indian visas will be reduced. Because I tell him that this is one of that is one of the major problems that Nigerians keep complaining about the waiting time. So he also told me that the FRRO in India, that they'll be inviting some officials from the Ministry of Home Affairs in India, you know, to come and participate in that consular dialogue. So when we go back, we are going to write our own position paper from our perspective as the people on the ground, and then send it to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a discussion, possible consideration for discussion points. Yeah.
What about the area of misleading Nigerians to seek admission in India?
Yes, yes. Now, misleading Nigerians seeking admission, it's just like in medicine. You know, part of our problem is I don't know if it is so many things contribute to this problem of lack of adequate information. Maybe limitations in the data storage capacity, or maybe just attitude. You know, so the number of Nigerians that come to India, for instance, to take for medical treatment, were not always availed of. They make private arrangements, and when they come, the time that we see them is when they have encounter problems. You know, so we've been initiating some approaches to the Indian government so that they can avail us of statistics of Nigerians that come to India and for what purpose, because it is only they that will have it. So because they issue the visas, and it is their immigration department that that record the entry of these Nigerians and their exit. So when it comes to, the same thing is replicated when it comes to students. Students generally don't seek the advice. Nigerian students, they generally don't seek the advice of third parties, especially the Nigerian High Commission, when they approach Indian institutions for admissions. And I want to use this opportunity to encourage them to do that. We have an educational, we have officers that are in charge of the educational department. If they ask questions, we can guide them. But more importantly, the Indian High Commission is here. And if they seek the guidance of the Indian High Commission, if you want to apply to a school, then you apply to a school and you say, look, or you ask the Indian High Commission and say, look, I want to apply to this kind of school. Can you help me to guide me if the school is accredited? Can you give me any information on the school, where the school is located? Maybe even if there are any peculiarities in the sociology of the area where you are going, because you know India is a huge continent, you know, and socially it's not what obtains in Delhi that obtains in Bangalore, and it's not that obtains in Visakhapatnam, Patnam, or whatever, you know. So the advice that I will give is that they consult the Indian High Commission, or they consult us, you know, if they want to get admissions, because just like you have a lot of schools that can be said not to meet some standards in Africa, that is how you also have some in India. Nobody is immune. I was just watching on CNN, you know, where they were talking about somebody being taken to court and sentenced for racketeering, you know, students who are not qualified to go to Ivy League schools, you know, Yale, MIT, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's proceed. Yeah. Between the Nigerian community in India and the Nigerian High Commission in India, have you been able to synergize the business community there and the Nigerian community for those who are doing business? Yeah. Are they doing well?
Yeah. Well, in fact, you should be telling Nigerians this story, because you were there. You know, when the first time we went, there was this disconnect, you know, between the Nigerian community, so-called, whether they are business or whether they are students or even people that come on government sponsorship like you. But we tried everything possible to build bridges. I have traveled. I started work there on the 1st of November, and so it's just over a year. But I have logged in more air miles, you know, because I made it a point of duty to go personally to be talking to them. So we are much closer than we are now. And I still go back to this consular dialogue that we're talking. The kind of things that we are going to advocate that should be considered also includes even import licenses, you know, so that the relationship between Nigeria and India can be more reflective of reciprocity in certain areas. You yourself know that to buy Nigerian food, for instance, in an Indian market, you have to buy it through an Indian, because Indians, generally speaking, do not allow foreigners to bring things. You know, you have to have import licenses. So those are, and work permits, for instance. You know, we have Indians who have lived there for generations and who are free to engage in all kinds of business. But to get a work permit in India is almost impossible as at now. But it is something that we have advocated over and over, that government takes up in discussion with Indian authorities. So that will open up the space and make for more constructive engagement by Nigerians in the Indian economy.
Okay. You also expressed concern to ensure that you reduced the rate of irregular Nigerians in India. Yeah. How far are you with this?
Yeah,
so that the issue of people being repatriated unnecessarily.
Yeah, well, you know that we live in a globalized world, and we're in a democracy. You know, so if somebody wants to travel and he gets a visa to a country to travel, you cannot prevent him from traveling. But what we did was that in my interaction with Nigerians in various parts of India, I came to understand from them that there are quite a few of them who would like to repatriate themselves because the conceptions that they had when they were going, you know, turned out not to be what they expected. But the problem is that India has a system where there's something they call overstay charges. You know, if you overstay your visa, it becomes a criminal offense. Yeah, it becomes an offense that makes you liable to pay charges that are calculated on the amount of the time you stay. Those charges they are graduated progressively. You know, so the Nigerians that are there that may need such that may be prevented by such charges from coming home. Even buying their ticket is a challenge, you know. So what we did was that we wrote to the government of India. So when we get the approval in principle, then we approach the federal government to help. Just
so
like
that's in progress now.
Yes, just like just like they did during the World Cup when Nigerians were stranded in Moscow, you know. So, but now, so that when we get them, maybe we can ask the government if it is the Air Force that they can ask to send the C-130 to come and carry them, or if it is chartering a plane, you know. But we haven't received an official reply to that yet. But that is what we're doing.
So, from your vision, which you said is evolving,
yes,
where do you think you would take the relations to before the end of your tenure in India?
Well, first and foremost, you should start by congratulating me for President Buhari's victory. Yes, because I mean that now gives those of us who are appointed by him the confidence, you know, that we can carry on with our jobs without you know, with full confidence that we can carry on with our jobs, you know, because we serve at his pleasure. Now, I said that I consider myself particularly lucky that I am Nigerian envoy in India at a time when both the Nigerian government, the Indian government, the Nigerian populace, the Indian populace, when they have found by a concatenation of circumstances, you know, that it is in the mutual interest of all of them to cooperate. If one had gone when Nigeria was focused on only one part of the world, that would have been a huge challenge. So my own vision is to do all that I can to catalyze the process, you know, within the limits that any mission or any embassy can do such a catalyzation. And I'm really gratified that we're making huge progress. Now, let me give you one example. After I had spoken with the High Commissioner of India, Mr. Allen Onyema, who the chairman of APIS, he came to discuss the details of the commencement of direct flights from Nigeria to India. Okay. I think he's going to start with Mumbai, and he is also going to have some arrangement with a domestic Indian airline, you know, which will then be distributing, taking Nigerians to their ultimate destinations. I think he wants to start with Mumbai. Okay. And this initiative is a result of the bilateral air services agreement that the Minister of Aviation came to sign the other day in Delhi. So a whole lot of things are happening, and I am really very gratified for that.
Okay, so what word of assurance do you have for Nigerians in India and Indians in Nigeria as the relations progresses? Yeah,
the word of assurance that I have for them is that globalization has come here to stay. There is no country that can live in isolation again. And that globalization is also resonating in Indian society itself. I am saying that because it makes me optimistic that the social conditions that hitherto existed in India, which were one of the challenges that you yourself know, that they will continue to progressively, you know, liberalize themselves because of this globalization of the thing. Now, India, everybody knows that India is asserting itself in the global community now. Prime Minister Modi went to Davos, you know, the last time, and addressed them completely in Hindi, you know. So what it means is that India is growing in self-confidence and is projecting herself in the world, and it has become one of the pivotal nations in the world. So if we relate with them, as we have been relating, that is going to multiply exponentially. And the Nigerian businesses, they say that Indian-made products tend to compete favorably in terms of durability, in terms of adaptability to the environment in the third world. They aren't as excessively, you know, computerized as the things that you get from elsewhere. So the prospects will continue to be quite interesting and quite beneficial, and the growth will continue. So I am looking forward to a time when an average Nigerian can feel as much at home in India as an average Indian feels at home in Nigeria. As I said, you will see people that second, third generation Indians that are here. I met an Indian who told me that he now has a Nigerian and UK passport, because in India does not recognize dual citizenship. So if you're an Indian and you want to take the citizenship of any other country, you have to drop their own passport. So I met an Indian. I'm sure there must be others who have preferred to take Nigerian citizenship because of the opportunities that they have met. Okay. So I'm looking forward seriously to a day when Nigerians will also be feeling like that in India.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you. Right.
Major General Chris Eze, Nigeria's High Commissioner to India. Thanks for being on Diplomatic Ties.
My pleasure.
I believe you had it informative. We looked at deepening relations between Nigeria and India with emphasis on health and SMEs collaboration. My guest was the Nigerian High Commissioner to India. Thanks for watching the program. Always be guest to Diplomatic Ties. Bye-bye.